Hi everybody, it's crazy. It's Tuesday, not Monday, because yeah, I had life event happen yesterday, so I postponed it till today. So before I get started, you gotta give a shout out to my trust because you guys rock. To my crazy fam, I love you guys, and to my patrons, thank you for your continued support. Now we're up to episode number 37, and we left off last week with expressions. So I'm gonna read a little bit from it, and we're gonna do a couple little things, and then we'll jump on over to Blender and take a look at it, or actually a BGE in this case. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, expressions. Sometimes logic switches don't give you enough control to evaluate your sensors. You may want to compare the value of more than one property at once, or maybe even to check for specific ranges in your sensors. Calling an actuator only when some sensors are positive and others are negative. Or why not? It's your game after all. Do all of this together. As you have guessed, expressions can handle all of those situations and a few others. Before going into all of the options, let's first take a look at some examples. Let me bring my mouse over here so I can scroll over a little bit. Okay, so first case. We want to eliminate your player when the energy is 0 and there are no lives left. So we create two game properties named energy and life and control them with the expression energy is less than or equal to 0 and life equals 0. Simple, right? But what if you want to finish the game when you type quit? Now you need a keyboard sensor with all keys logged to a text property. The expression will be text equals quit \n in quotes. End of the line, or end of line, excuse me. Here we are using \n to identify a return or enter right after the word. You can see this last technique combined with other actuators and different objects on chapter 3 controller expressions.blend. So if you have the files, you can actually go to the book chapter 3 and go to the controller expressions.blend, and you can actually bring that video or that blend file up, and it will show you a lot of the stuff that they're talking about in this chapter. This is especially powerful for quick prototyping and debugging of your game. Expressions tend to be as simple as the examples presented. They can grow big, however, and the following parts will show how to combine simple expressions to create more advanced controllers. Keep in mind that expressions are actually used also in the property sensor and the property actuator. The difference is that from them, the result will be directly used as the property value. Therefore, there you will use mostly values and arithmetic operations. For the expression controller, the expected value is always a Boolean, so you end up using comparison test and the Boolean operations more often. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to here and show you what they're talking about. Okay, properties, okay, actually have, let me find the other property here, have a value, okay, which is the same thing as basically an expression. You can put the same expressions here that you do here. Okay, now error checkpoint. Always check the console for errors. If the expression is incorrect, the game engine will print an error when you call the controller. So I don't have anything up here, but you would hit this toggle system from console, blah, 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 say that 5 times fast. Right now I got nothing in here. It's just initializing UPBGE. Do not click this button. Whatever you do, just come back over here, hit window, and then toggle system console, and it will not show up in your taskbar. But if you do click on it, you can actually go to your taskbar and see it, in a taskbar. It'll look the same as your UPBGE window, but it will have another one next to it. Okay, so keep that in mind. I wanted to bring that one to a lot of people's attention because they don't, think about that. I've done it many a times and hit the X instead of minimize, it's best just to go right up here to this window. Okay, now we're going to go to values. That's these guys right here in your properties, okay? The simple expressions contain no more than a single value. If you want to check if a Boolean property is true, you only need to use its name as a value. Okay, so example, your property, okay, that may be true, and then true here. Okay, for a controller expression right here, okay, you will only use the lonely value when dealing with Booleans. However, for the property sensor and property actuator and as part of big expressions, you can also use the following types as values: a Boolean, true and false, okay, numbers, and I'm going to switch back over here real quick. That's the one I need. Okay, you got Booleans, which is true and false, numbers, which is like 5, 7, 3.5, 40, 3.5, you know, basically integers and floats, positive and negative, and even 0. So you can have a negative number, a positive number. You know, negative numbers just have a, you know, the minus sign in front of them. Okay, a string, basically like this, text, you know, a piece of text inside, you know, or it's always surrounded or always around quotation marks. Okay, so quotation marks are right here and right here. You have to have them in quotations for it to view it as a string. Okay, you got property. Property name gives the property value. Okay, so your property name is right here, which, and I'm going to switch back over to, let's see, I think it's that one. Yeah, okay, which is right here. Okay, that's your property. Then you got sensor. Sensor name. Actually, that's the sensor name. Your property name would actually, I'm sorry, I did do that wrong. If I can get it to kick. There we go. Come on. There we go. Okay, your property value is this guy right here. Okay, whatever you name this property is what it will be over here. Okay, in one of these. So as you see, there's prop. That's your property, you know, property value. Okay, your property name is this one I just did a whole bunch of n's. Okay, so your n value here, okay, is your sensor name. Okay, it gives true or false according to the sensor status. So if it is true level triggered or it's inverted, which gives a negative level trigger, then it would be true or false. Okay, a single value is not exactly an expression. Let's move on and see what kind of expressions and operators we can make when combining them together. Sensors in an expression. In order to use a sensor name, okay, which is this name right here, okay, the sensor has to be linked to the expression. So you actually have to have this linked to use the name, its name in the expression. N equals 1. Okay, in order to do that, you only, in order to use the, you know, the property name, you actually have to have it linked. Okay. All right, comparison tests. Let's see, how far am I into this right now? Okay, I'm only 8 minutes, so we can do a little bit more. Okay, so comparison tests. If instead of testing a single variable, you need to compare two values, there are 5 different comparison tests you can use. The test can be between a variable, property, or sensor, and a value, 2 values, or 2 variables. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to here because last time I had a problem with this one. Okay, equal, okay, would be this right here. You're saying that like fruit equals jabu tikabua? Baka? I don't know what kind of fruit that is, but if that's a fruit, please let me know in the comments down below, or jump on over to my server and let me know, because I have no idea what that is. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can Google it, but why don't you tell me? Okay, you got greater, which is this right here. You got lesser or less than, that's this one. Greater or equal to, which is this. Okay, or lesser or equal to, or less than or equal to. Okay, so you can use these in conjunction with each other, actually, you know, to make it work. Okay, the result of a comparison test will always be a Boolean. if you need to return a value other than true or false, then what you are looking for is a condition statement. If the frame is less than 0 and 1, 0. So if it's less than 0, okay, which if it's all this, if the frame is less than 0, it has 1 and 0, then if it is, then you're going to do this. Okay, so the syntax is if condition, value when true, okay, value when false. If you use the above expression as a value for the add mode in a property actuator, it will decrease the counter, for example, frame, if the value is greater than 0. So it's got to be greater than 0 in order for it to work. Okay? Arithmetic operations. If your value is numeric, you can also manipulate it a bit. This can be used to assign a value based on a variable. For example, speed times time, or as part of a test. For example, energy plus potion is greater than 0. Okay? The most basic math operations are supported to operate your value for the records. Addition, 1 plus 3.8. Subtraction minus, multiplication star. Division, /, and modulus, okay, which is basically divided. Okay? Oh, yeah, I believe it's divided. That's what they use for, no, that's divided. That is the square root, I think. I can't remember what it was now. It's been a while, but basically you would put that in there, and that's what it does. Okay? All right, so Boolean operations. Finally, you have the capability of combining Boolean tests together. A Boolean test can be a simple Boolean value for example, a sensor or a property value, or the result of a comparison test. They work as aggregators through which you can compile big expression tests. Okay, which is and. Okay, so potion keyboard sensor and number potions is greater than 0 and energy plus 30 but less than 60. Or speed is less than or equal to 0.0 or stop keyboard sensor. Okay, so you're using the same things that you would use in your, let's kick over to here for a quick second. Let's see. There we go. It's the same thing as using, where's it at? Using these, okay? But you're doing it as an expression, okay? Not equals jump keyboard sensor and not floor collision sensor. So not would be, this but not this, okay? Very simple. Let's kick back over to that, okay? The Boolean operations are not commutative or associative when grouped together. For example, try to read the following expressions. 1 equals 2 and 3 is greater than 4, or 5 is less than 6. Okay? False and false or true. They are intentionally ambiguous. Yeah, ambiguous. Are we testing the and or the or first? In order to solve this issue, you can use parentheses to isolate your expressions. The previous expressions are evaluated as 1 equals 2 and 3 is greater than 4, or 5 is less than 6. Less than 6. False and false or true. Those expressions will result in true. False or true equals true. If the expected result was false, we should have grouped it as 1 equals 2 and 3 is greater than 4 or 5 is less than 6. False and false or true. Okay? Yeah, it can be a little cloudy because when you start messing with a lot of numbers and you're trying to figure out, different ones, you want to group them how they're set up. Okay, so you would want false and false, okay, which would equal false. And then once that has been evaluated, then it will go to the or statement. Okay, so if false or true, it would equal true, because any one of them can be true and it'd be true. Okay, now if you wanted your answer to be false, you would do it this way. Okay, because this would be done first, and then it will fall to this. So if false or true would equal true, then false and true will equal false. Okay, that's you got to learn a little bit of Python, and a lot of people don't want to learn it, but it actually helps you out. So whenever you do expressions, you can actually do a bit. Okay, and it takes a little bit of learning, and Python is very easy to learn. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about it, I actually have my I did a learned experience, and I think I got like 35 episodes, or, and basically I went through a Python book. So if you'd like to check that out, I'll make sure I put it at the end of the video, so that way you can see it. It's usually at the end of most of my videos, somewhere right over in here somewhere. So you'll figure it out when you get to the end of the video. Okay, so where are we at in time? I'm at 16, so I'm going to leave it right here where it says you can find an elegant use of the Boolean operations to create a toggle mechanism on Chapter 3 controller expressions toggle.blend. Okay, I'm just going to leave it here because of the fact that after that we're going to go into the Python controller, but I'm going to read this off next week. So let me do this. So, and as you see behind me, I do not have my good old green screen. I just have my thing back there because I didn't feel like grabbing out my thing because I'm late and I wanted to get it done, so. But that's what I've got for this week. Check back next week where we're going to go into the Python controller. Now, this does a lot of Python, but it doesn't mean that you have to know everything about Python. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about Python, you should see it right about here. I think, is it here? No, right there. Okay, I was going the wrong way. But, Python here is called Learned Experience, and then, of course, my previous episodes are up here somewhere. Okay, and if you'd like to, subscribe or say hello to me, or, check down here at the bottom where I have my Discord server, say hi. I'd be more than happy to hear from you, and drop a comment if you'd like. If you're not into the Discord, that's okay. So, till next time.